What's up, guys? Hope you guys like the new intro. It is a new season, so new season equals new intro, new season of Nuke and his stream. Today, we're going to be talking about how to get laid like a warlord. It's a popular article for you guys that don't know. Some guy named Michael Haines, uh, PUA guy, wrote a guide that did pretty well. Like it caught a lot of people's attention on how to get laid like a warlord. And if you guys look at it, it's essentially like I would say like a quick primer, like a list. It's like 37 things, right? On frame and how women test how more attractive women test your frame and all these things, right? And it's supposed to be geared towards getting more attractive women, not the type of woman, not your everyday gal, right? Like women that are just the hottest everywhere they go. And I just wanted to give you guys an update um on I wanted to give you guys an update on what I think in 2025 because I think it was written 2016 or something. Uh, my take on it today. Not that I'm some kind of like only like I sleep with models and all that stuff, but it just I wanted to give a quick update on uh w- how how we can interpret it today, see if it still holds up and all that. So that's important. If you guys on your way in, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't. For the new, I got a couple of new people, new followers, and all that stuff. For you guys that don't know, on Sunday 9 p.m. is when I do my stream, and then throughout the week I'll throw a live here and there, uh, do Q&As, do reactions, and all that stuff. So yeah, this is a kind of more sensible take on the red pill and on intersexual dynamics. It's more educational. We're just trying to trade notes and win here. We're not trying to. I'm not trying to win against anyone but myself, right? Excuse me. So, without further ado, I'll bring up this list. Um, Share screen. And guys, please excuse all the ads. The ads are crazy. But yeah, there's so many ads here. Let me get rid of these ads. So distracting. But essentially, this guy wrote it. It's a little small, guys. I'll try to make it as big as I can. I'll just read it to you guys. So it starts with a complete guide: how to get laid like a warlord, 37 rules of approaching model tier girls. And it did pretty well on Reddit, 4,618 upvotes on the Reddit, Red Pill Reddit. It was published November 29th, 2016, so about 9 years ago, in about 2 weeks. And by this guy named Mike Haines. So he says, a complete guide to picking up nines and tens. Today, I want to tell you everything I know about getting the highest caliber girls from Cold Approach. This guide will cover frame control, inner game, and passing tests, which I consider to be the holy trinity of 9 and 10 game. This guide will not cover body language, pulling, and handling logistics. Obviously, the latter are extremely important, but I've been adequately covered elsewhere. There's just isn't space to include them here. Okay, so we're going to be focusing on these three things: frame control, inner game, and passing tests. So he gives you his background. Apparently, he was dumped by his girlfriend and spent the first 2 years in college pretty celibate. Got into red pill ideas through the Old Citizen Renegade blog, which is Royce's or Chateau Ortiz's blog. and then he stumbled on some RSDs infield videos. And then he started going out approaching regularly, approaching anxiety and ceaseless rejection for months, but I kept at it, the odd success here and there. About 2 years, I was fucking a new girl every fortnight or so, mostly sevens and eights with the occasional turbo. When fortune smiled on me, my current girlfriend is a 9, has done all, etc. Okay. Below is everything I know about getting the hottest woman from cold approach pickup. This is especially engineered for 9s and 10s and dealing with this kind of bullshit these girls would inevitably give you. If you're more sleeping into with tons of 7s, there's nothing wrong with that. This might be overkill. When I was single, I mostly was one of those guys that would rather fuck half a dozen 9 and 10s in a year than 50 mid-average range girls. So my whole approach to game is based on optimizing for that. Take it for what it is. I'm not saying my approach is better, but it's just how I roll based on my preferences. This is a long post. You may want to bookmark and return it later if you're particularly concerned with getting the hottest girls. There's a lot of subtle points in here that won't be immediately clear on the first reading. Okay, number one. So I think it's divided into three parts. So part one, the attraction process. Uh, Number one, women are attracted to you because you have a stronger frame than they do, and it's pretty concise. If you guys don't know what frame is like the worldview, who you are. It is what she has to step into to be attracted to you, right? And this is why whenever we plan dates and a woman wants to change the location of the date, what she's saying is that you're in my frame now, and you don't have to walk into that. You can say like my way or the highway. Um, so you have to have a strong frame, um, because if you don't, women cannot respect a man who doesn't have frame or whose frame she's not in. All right. So that's pretty simple, guys. Nothing crazy. Number two, women would rather fuck an ugly guy with a strong frame than a handsome guy with a weak one. Now, this is one that like, especially the looks maxers, the incel bros, everyone thinks that if you got, and even the gym bros, the gym cells, whatever you call them, if you got the physique or if you got the looks, if you looks match, then everything, um, everything will come into place. Like you won't have to worry about running game or having frame or anything. You just exist, right? That's a very female coded kind of way of thinking about the dating and all that stuff. You are a man. You are not a woman. You don't get to just sit on your ass and look pretty. You're gonna get your frame tested. You're going to get rejected regardless of how good looking you are, and your looks is only good enough to catch a woman's attention. After that happens, you have to use other things, and all that. So yeah. So he basically says evolution has designed women to be very flexible in terms of who they become attracted to. Women would rather fuck an ugly guy with a strong frame, not a natural leader, than a handsome guy with a weak frame, cowardice, uncertainty. That's because women who choose to F the latter ultimately had their genes rooted out of existence by the brutal conditions of ancestral life. In consequence, women are now very adaptable. They have the capacity to be attracted to almost any man so long as his frame is stronger than hers. And this guys, like a lot of guys don't believe this, right? Guys that don't approach women, guys that want to stay talking about women in the abstract for the rest of their life, um, still want to believe or convince themselves, and are trying to convince others that, oh, it's all about looks. But I'm telling you, um, a lot of us have been told we're handsome our whole lives, and we still get rejected by women. There's men that, while yes, they have the height, maybe the looks or whatever, they still get rejected. There is no man with 100% uh, success with women. There's none on this planet. There is one woman that will refuse to F you based because she just doesn't want to. So the thing is, you have no choice but to develop frame, and guys hate that. Guys hate setting boundaries. Guys hate having that attitude where it's like my way, the highway, because that requires you to tell people no or to refuse. And modern man is afraid of telling people no, and that is sad. So yeah. Yeah. All right, moving on. All righty, number three. A girl can only get horny for you if you have a stronger frame than her. All right, this is like building up on frame. Think of this like a mathematical equation. There's no getting around it, no cheating it, no short circuiting it, no short circuiting it. It is an immutable law. Women want to submit to you. They want to submit to a strong man, but you can't submit to if your frame is weaker than hers. Physiologically, girls can't even become wet for a guy who has a weaker frame than they do. It's literally impossible. Okay, so um again, he's just saying that hey, you're not gonna have sex if you don't have a good frame. That's all there is. Like this is pretty straightforward, right? Number 4, be a man. Act like you have the answers. And I think that's a quote from Bill Burr. What is a strong frame? Fundamentally, it is a sense of certainty in everything you do. The certainty manifests itself as calmness in the face of social pressure. Simply put, in a cold approach pickup, the woman becomes attracted to you because you're more relaxed than she is. That's all. That might seem strange, but it's actually not. The very fact that you approach the girl at all demonstrates a massive amount of confidence and social value. So once you've approached a girl and got her into a conversation, the game is yours to lose. She'll inevitably become attracted to you because you're a man and because you have a stronger frame than she does. A couple things here, right? First off, you guys need to understand that the 1% on paper and the 1% in terms of action are not the same. On paper, I am the 1% of men, right? In terms of physique, what I earn, height, all that stuff, right? But none of that shit can get me laid. Like as much as I wanted to, I can't just sit on a bench outside of my apartment and girls sit down next to me and be like, "Hey, what's up?" Like that's no matter what you do in life, unless you want to bank on becoming a celebrity or bank on becoming an influencer or something where women just flock to you, you cannot wait around no matter how high value you think you are. The true 1% is not the guys with the money or the looks or the status. It's the men that approach women, that go up to them and say hello. Now, this doesn't have to be in a cold approach scenario. It could be in a social circle. Um, it could be on dating apps and all that stuff. And when I say on dating apps, right, like guys that have good profiles, guys that have tweaked their profile and actually give a shit about their Instagram and all that stuff. That's the real 1%. Anyone can make 6 figures if you just stay working at your job long enough, but not everyone can go up to a girl, grab their balls, go up to a girl and say hello. It's just not the same, right? And guys hate that because that means like, wait, you mean all this work I did? Girls don't care like they do, right? But also that stuff's for you. The money is for you, so for you to enjoy, to pay your bills, and also to give you the better logistics, right? So instead of living in the middle of nowhere, you could live closer to a city. Instead of going on affording one day, you can go afford 2 dates, right? That money's for you. It's not supposed to be like now that I have money, I'm attractive, right? Like no, everyone is giving women money. Men are fighting for the opportunity to give women money. If you don't, if you guys want to understand how easy it is for women to get money, um, look at Twitter. Some women have cash apps in their bio or buy me a coffee, and you're like, "What are you selling? Are you selling a course? Are you selling something?" Nothing. Just hey, I exist, so here's my cash app. Like imagine that, right? All right. So relax. You will approach women, you will see make mistakes. That's fine. Women don't want you to be perfect. They only want you to be a man. They're not physically perfect. Neither am I. Neither is anyone. Women are not looking for perfection. They're only looking for a man who has a stronger psychological frame than they do. And unfortunately for you, already have a naturally stronger frame than women. An example of this is how women will freak over spiders and mice, jump up and down, scream, and so on, whereas a man will calmly deal with the situation without breaking his frame. So again, like whenever men, especially on the internet, talk about hot women and getting hot women, there's always an element of you ain't good enough as me. You can't do this. You have to be rich. You have to be this. You have to be that, right? But this article really, it really is very instills. It's meant to instill hope in you. He already says you have better frame, right? You just need to apply it to women when you're talking to them because you can see a cockroach and you could be like, "Oh, I got to kill that cockroach. Let me grab a sandal." And she can see the cockroach, she'll run out the house or run out the room. You already have a stronger frame because you are stronger physically. So, if you carried that over to talking to women, then you would do better. And that's a good thing. That's a good way to think. And what is the red pill but not a set of mental models to help you solve your problems. So, yeah. Um, Number 6, she tests your frame to test your masculinity. The two are the same exact thing. Women are attracted to masculinity, and masculinity can be defined as a measure of how much pressure a man can endure without breaking his frame. When you approach a hot woman, she immediately starts trying to break down your frame. She is testing it for strength. If your frame crumbles in the face of her frame, she knows you're not a man because men have stronger frame than women. Fortunately, your frame will not crumble. A girl's frame will always buckle into yours after you pass several of her tests. It's instinctual. Women want to be with a strong man. When she sees you have a strong frame, she starts getting wet. Now, this is another one of those things where like women want you to win, guys. I know that the internet and these shows and everything, but every time, like I know there's this belief that women love going out and wasting men's time, but here's what happens. Man and women meet online or meet in person, and women shows very low investment signals as her way to be like, "Hey, I don't want to go out with you." Right? She texts little by little. She texts less and less. She, I don't know, follows him. She just shows little effort and investment, which is her, the medium is a message. Medium is a message. That's her way of saying, no, I'm not interested. But what happens is men insist constantly to go out with the girl. Like, hey, are we still on? How about they keep rescheduling? And then eventually the girl's like, fine, I'll go out with you. And then she's like, well, I'm going to get something out of it. So they do dinner, right? And that's never a good plan because she's already not into you. Plus, you're going to be paying for her dinner, and then boom, you're bitter because you're having a bad experience. You're trying to save it by using money and gifts and dinner, whatever, and it's not going to work, right? Whereas if you guys learn how to filter by desire, and you understand that some women cannot just say no to your face. They're going to ghost or war of attrition until they leave you, or stop talking to you. Then you can understand that not all women have the same interest level when they match you, and you can filter for better dates and all that stuff. 7, listen, smile, nod, agree, then do whatever the fuck you were gonna do anyway. Robert Downey Jr. Now this is a big one because um, men online are desperate to take women seriously and what they say for at their word. And sometimes women enjoy it. Women enjoy when we take them seriously because they can have fun with us and manipulate us. So a woman can come online and say, "Hey, it's bad to do A." And men will be like, "No, I gotta explain to this girl why it's good to do A, and she can't control me." I'm like, you guys are well within your power to just tell women you're right and still do the thing you were gonna do anyway, right? You can, if a girl says, "Well, you're a degenerate," um, you can still say, "Hey, you're right," or "Yeah, I should change," but still continue. Like, you can do it anyway. And guys need to understand that you don't have to check in with women for what you're gonna do. Uh, Moment tests me all the time. Women have said things to me that are totally brutal, called me ugly, too short, a loser. Most of the women I approach will make a weird face or pretend to ignore me for the first 10, 20 seconds. It doesn't penetrate, doesn't cause any emotional reaction whatsoever inside of me. I smile, nod, agree, and then keep talking to her as if she's being nice to me. Eventually, she starts responding, then she starts laughing, and then we have sex. A woman's frame will always buckle into yours. It's not a question of if, but when. So basically, what he's saying is that with more attractive women, you're going to they're going to put up this front of like a bitchy face, or they're going to be like pretend they don't see you there for like 10, 20 seconds. Right, and what he's explaining is that you cannot let that pierce you. You cannot let that get to you. You have to continue the interaction because attractive women, that's how they filter out men. It's just they have more obstacles to them because they get hit on more. They have to filter harder because they can. They're hot. So, yeah. Chasing hot girls gives you a charge. When you're first getting into game, it's fun only to approach 5s and 6s. Many of the girls will be super nice to you, and that's cool. A lot of them are fantastic in bed. I can attest to that. But once you start to get some experience, you're naturally going to want to move up the ladder and start laying 8s, 9s, and 10s. This is a natural instinct. It's good. It's okay to chase girls just because they're hot. These girls want you to chase them. If they didn't, they wouldn't make themselves hot. Part of being a man is that you can appreciate women's beauty and femininity. It gives you a charge. And pursuing women who are out of your league by society's false standards also give you a charge. Yeah, I'll tell you guys, like when I was in 2020, it was COVID, and I was, mentally, not a lot of us were doing well. I wasn't doing well mentally, but I wasn't used to being locked in inside and not seeing people for so long. And then they opened up my gym, and I started going again. And then there's super hot chick. I would say she's an 8 out of 10. At least she was then. Um, Absolutely gorgeous chick and just banging body. She started working out next to me, and I said, "Why not? Like, what do I have to lose, right?" And I was like, kind of depressed, and I just went up to her and said hello, and I did the Rouge V opener where you just ask her for advice and say, "Hey, what does that work out? Like, what? How did like?" Or what I think I asked her, "Can you look at my form? Can you check my form for me?" And all that stuff. Um, and she was like, "Yeah," very excited, and then we talked and we just had like a 3-minute conversation. Like, she was 100% locked into what I was saying, right? And this is one of the hottest women I've approached, like, and for 3 days, I rode that high. I felt alive. Like this what it felt like is that I had this fog in my head, and when that happened, it just cleared. My head completely cleared, right? And this is what I'm saying, guys. You were designed to interact with women like this, right? You just gotta have a little bit of balls. And also, another thing that bothers me about men is the entitlement, because a lot of men think they're entitled to hot, beautiful women, or, but you gotta start somewhere. You cannot just read the rational male and you're getting 8, 9s, and 10s. You cannot complain and get 8, 9s, and 10s. You have to start somewhere, and do not feel bad if you have to, hook up with a chubby girl, or hook up with a girl that's a little bit below average. You have to start somewhere, and you do this because you first need to convince yourself that, hey, I like women aren't out to get me. It's gonna be okay, because as okay, if you're not successful with women, you're gonna be very neurotic. You're gonna be think of things that aren't a problems. You're gonna believe the internet when they say, "Hey, believe this, believe that." You're going to have all these mental blocks. But as you start hooking up with chicks and you realize, like, "Oh, this didn't happen. The internet swore it was gonna happen," then your mind starts getting clear, and you can move on to the next girl, the next echelon of beauty, whatever. And you'll realize that when it comes to dating, pickup, Tinder, whatever way you see it or do, whatever method you use, you're gonna realize, like, it's the internet and the rest of the world that already is trying to convince you of the outcome, an outcome that only you get to see. But they're like, "Hey, no, this is gonna happen." And there's so many, like, for example, Latinos are crazy. Don't date them or date them because they're insane. I'm like, well, find out for yourself. Why not find out for yourself? You know, hey, Asian women don't like only like white guys. Like, there's no chance. I'm like, well, I just 1 year I set my Hinge to Asian women, and I hooked up with like 8 of them in a year. Obviously, I had other plates and all that stuff, but yeah, I think I did that uh beginning of 2023 or 2022 to 2023. Um, and I just did that. Now obviously it was Hinge. You're not gonna get like the cream of the crop, but I got matches. Women were interested, and the internet said that they don't prefer guys that look like me. They prefer white guys. I'm like, no, I didn't let the internet decide, right? So, um, go out there and develop your frame and realize that a lot of your lack of belief in yourself is the internet telling you that there is no there to the internet is telling you that you're already defeated. The battle hasn't even started, and the internet's like, "You're already defeated." That's unfair. All right, we talked about that. Seducing a 9 is no different from seducing a 5. Now, this one is interesting, right? The process of attraction is exactly the same. The only difference is that the hot girl's frame is stronger than the chubby girl's. But ultimately, no matter how strong a hottie's frame is, your frame is always will always be stronger because you're a man. Now, this is one of those things where um it's interesting, right? Because you need to start somewhere. You need to start at 5, 6, 7. You can't start with 8, 9s, and 10s. No one does. But what can happen is that you're talking to a 5 and she has a bitchy attitude. And you're like, "What the hell? You're a 5. You're not supposed to have this bitchy attitude. You're supposed to be easy and pleasant because you're a 5." And then some guys rationalize, well, like, "Well, if the 5s are like this, the 9s must be worse." And I'm like, "No, it's all the same." Right? Obviously, there's gonna be girls that are more bitchy than others, but you don't need much. You don't need you just need to hold out until the friend like, she understands that you have a stronger frame than she does. After that, it's the same jokes, the same stories, the same everything, and she's gonna test you. But guys rationalize like, "Hey, just like they do, I'm not as high stat or I'm not as hot, so I can't ask for more." And they project that onto the girl, and the girl's like and then they talk to the girl, and the girl's, like, bitchy, and they're like, "Wait a minute, you're a 5, how are you so bitchy?" And then they blame inflation, all that stuff. I'm like, "Listen, if you what would you rather get rejected by, a 5 or a 9?" Most guys would be like, "A 9." Well, there you go. There's your answer. Might as well go for the 9 because the 5 and the 9 is the same shit. The only difference is that what you believe you can get. Alrighty. Women women will test you brutally when they want to sleep with you. When you approach any hot girl, she'll test your frame hard to see if it's strong. She'll act like a bitch. She'll pretend to ignore you. She'll tell you outright, go away. She wants to see if you'll buckle social pressure, if your frame will remain calm and consistent regardless of external feedback. She wants to sleep with you, but she needs to test your strength first. Don't be fooled by a bitch persona for a second. Okay, so yeah, it's getting a little bit repetitive. But yeah, let me take a quick moment to say hi to everyone in the chat. We have Jack Napier in here. We have Grim Villain. How you doing, sir? We have Julian. Nice to see you, sir. Zed is dead. I dig it, but I miss swinging ass in jeans. Yeah. Man. I know. I know. We got Matthew W here, and we got Phil Bradley. How you guys doing? All right. Fight Club analogy number 11. Getting a hot woman into bed is like the hazing scene in Fight Club, where the new recruits are lined up outside the door. The Taliban berates the recruits with personal insults: too old, go away; too fat, go away. He forces them to stand outside for days. He tells them there's no possibility they're getting in. Most give up, but the few that stay are ultimately invited inside. Seducing the hottest woman is the same, a war of attrition. Um, Women will fuck pretty much any guy who's around at the end of the night, so as long as he has stronger frame than she does. But you will have to stick around. You can't leave when insults you or act like she doesn't want to talk to you. If you do, you're failing her tests. We'll get into the mechanics of passing these tests in a moment. First, we need to talk about inner game, which is the basis of outframing anyone. Okay, so essentially, again, he reiterates that it's just you gotta hang in there. You gotta like if the girl, if you're talking to a girl, she's disrespectful or rude or dismissive or whatever, you gotta just hang in there. Um, so yeah, as expect it to be a little bit worse in the beginning, but after she starts opening up, then yeah. All right. Part 2, inner game. Before we start this, let's take a quick break and we'll be back soon after these messages. Alrighty, and we're back. So part 2 is inner game. A lot of people argue whether inner game exists because they're saying like, oh, there is no inner game. You either do it or you don't. Um, some guys are like, you could fake it till you make it, whatever. But let's see his takes on inner game. So the first one he talks about is the battle is won or lost inside you before it's ever fought. We've said that we're the only way to arouse women to the point that she wants to sleep with you off cold approach is to pass her tests. How do you pass these tests? The first principle is to understand that all tests are frame tests. The entire purpose of tests is to see if you have a strong frame that won't buckle under pressure. Therefore, it's useless to begin without talking about how to pass tests. The real value is in having a strong frame to begin with. As Sun Tzu says in The Art of War, every battle is won or lost before it's ever fought. Now, um, you here's where the majority of men are. Majority of men are already defeated. They don't understand that there is no concept. There is no leagues. You don't need permission. Women aren't gonna like call the cops on you for approaching. Um, you're not a bad person for talking to a girl. The girl's not gonna bite your head off. But they believe these things. They're already defeated. You didn't even give it a shot. So then they go to the internet and they cope, or they tell men that it's not worth it, and they all want to share in their misery. And I'm here to tell you that give it a shot. Don't be defeated before you even start. You know, who knows? You might actually get laid for once. All right. Number 13, I am enough frame equals the gold dust that gets you nines and tens. All right. So the basis of your inner game is the idea that you are enough. In other words, you have to value to women. You have value to women simply because you're a man. Everything else is built upon that foundation. You don't have to do anything to attract a girl. She's attracted to you simply because you're more relaxed than she is. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to improve your game beyond what it's at now. You don't need to become better looking. You can do all these things that you want and they'll help you, but you don't have to. You're already good enough simply because you're a man, because you've got testosterone and a dick. Women value that. Okay, so the I am enough. You can interpret this, here's where the alpha masculinity, like self-improvement bros hate this, because to them, if you don't have certain things in place, why are you even talking to women? And the broke drummers, the bartenders, all that, they get hot chicks, but they're broke, and some of them aren't even in shape. So how come they do it? Guys don't like to talk about that because it makes them feel like all their self-improvement was for naught. But here's the thing, right? As you go through your dating life and you start getting with girls, you're gonna see a divergence. So women on the internet are gonna constantly tell you, men ain't shit, I'm better than men. Look at me, look at my tits, men ain't shit, look at my tits, men ain't shit, look at my tits, over and over again. Like that's their whole thing. And you're gonna start sleeping around with women and you're gonna realize, like, wow, I thought women were these creatures that were so, sure of themselves and confident, even in the bedroom. And then about like 20 women in, you're gonna start realizing I've been coaching every girl on how to have sex. I thought women like knew about their bodies, and I thought men didn't know how to make women, orgasm. But here you are coaching a woman on how to reach that. I'm like, wow. Um, you're gonna sleep with women and realize like how crazy and their lives are, that they have no handle on their lives. You're going to sleep with women and they're gonna be like, "Hey, sorry, it's too much." Like in the bedroom, "Hey, it's too much. Can you slow down? I can barely breathe." Right? And you're gonna be like, what the hell?" And that's when you finally realize you are enough. It was never like, women love when men get together and like, "You gotta look smacks, bro, and you gotta do this, you gotta do that." They love that shit because it lets them filter out guys that don't have frame, because they're trying to skirt around this test. When men talk about dating, a lot of the guys, they always want to leave out rejection. Rejection is just part of the game. It's, if not the most important part, because this is where it separates the men from the boys. So you are enough, but you just gotta hold it down, right? And this is like when Patrice O'Neal, he constantly says, "I'm better than you. I'm better than you," in his arguments with women when he was alive. Uh, and this is what he meant. He meant like, hey, as a guy, you already have a lot of advantages over women, and the only thing she has is her pussy. Is she bigger than her? Is she better than you because she has a pussy? This is what this is trying to tell you. No, no woman on earth is better than you because she has a pussy. If any woman on earth is better than you, you can beat her in other things, whether it be physical, intelligence, or something. No woman on this earth are better than you. None. And that's what women don't want you to know, because if men found out their value and found out altogether that they were more awesome than the world thinks they are, as at least most men, then women will lose a lot of power. So they got to hold us in this place where we think we suck, and we got to like be better for them. It's diabolical. Number 14, men and women are meant to get together. We fit together like a key and lock. There have been studies done in which women smell men's sweaty t-shirts, and it changes the chemistry of their brain, making them more relaxed and calm. Your maleness is inherently attracted to women, same way as their femininity is inherently attracted to you. Yeah, I mean, this goes back to Rollo Tomasi. He says that men are better together than they are apart. Now, I agree and disagree with this. I mean, and it depends on how much time. Because if you go on a date with a girl on Thursday and you have a good time, you spend a long time, you probably don't want to see her right away. You probably need space. So it's not the same as it used to be, where men and women don't really need each other as much anymore. So I always recommend spend as little time as you can with women to get the job done, right? Do not spend as little time, because you need to be more around more men. I know that sounds kind of gay, right? But you need to be more around men, your friends, a guy that's teaching you something, strangers. You need to be more around men, because if you're not careful, your whole life you're going to be spending it mostly around women, and that doesn't, you you're gonna feel very lonely, and you're just gonna emasculate you because you're not around your own. So yeah, I think truly men and women are meant to get together, but in small doses. Outside of like necessity, small doses is enough. All right. Standards are a myth. Everyone is a horny scoundrel. Now, this another one. This is one of those things that like the article likes to harp a lot on standards, and like everything is fake and all that, which I like. It's a good mentality. It's a very healthy way to go about dating. But let's continue. Um, we have been brainwashed in our culture into believing that women have something called standards. Women don't have any standards, not really, neither do men. Imagine you're naked in bed with a four. She's kind of chubby, plain face. You probably wouldn't be proud of the lay, whatever. But her skin's soft, she smells good, and she's naked and wet. Are you going to say no? Probably not. If we're being honest with each other, you'd almost definitely fuck her if you could be certain that A, she'd leave afterwards, and B, no one would find out. There's a natural magnetism between men and women. We have no willpower around each other. Women are the same way. Take it from someone who's shut out of his league too many times to count. This is a good mentality to have, right? Because um again, women try to fake us out by saying, I would never do that, I would never do this. But the reality is that, like Forward Playboy says, any dick will do. Like you don't men women usually, like there is very few things a woman needs out of a man for sex. You just need to not be disgusting and have frame, like he's saying. So we got a $10 super chat.
Thank you so much, best friend.
Dark Knight Deb, one of our members with the $10. I can tell you as a single brother in NYC, the bar is in hell. Dress good, wear cologne and be charming, lay down some good pipe. I'm 5'9" and make average money. Girls are more insecure than you anyway. Yeah, the bar is in hell. And I just don't care about guys that they're not trying, right? Like these guys that are like, I can't wait for sex robots for everything to be back to normal. I can't wait for this. We got to repeal the 19th. I'm like, I don't want to remove power from women because they use that power to fuck me. You guys understand that? Like the women said, hey, having a job isn't enough. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna get in shape. I think I'm gonna earn some money. Now, Do they need those things? No, but it helps my odds. It helps me stand out. It makes all the frame stuff even easier because if I'm tall and jacked and a girl's looking at me, her defenses are going to be a little more down, and it makes this stuff a little bit easier, right? Why not make it easier? And also, you live longer, you fuck better. There's no reason not to get in shape. And then the wear cologne stuff and all that. It's just you win over more people because you smell good. Everyone likes being around you. Um, there is no reason not to work on these things. You have a burden of performance as a man. You are not a woman. You have to go out and do something about this because if you don't, you're just going to end up bitter and angry, and then you're going to wait for someone else to save you. And trust me, guys, I don't know what it is about politics. It's just guys don't get it. It's like been 20 years now since guys, or 10 years now since guys have been into politics. Um, and it's always the same thing. It's waiting for a savior, but in different ways, you know? So, yeah. Thank you for the super chat, Dark Knight Div. All right. Um, cool. Be her cheat meal. You can be a 4 and she can be a 9. If their circumstances are right, she'll fuck you as so long as there's no downside. Why? Because sex feels good. Now, this is important, guys. No downside. What would be a downside? Well, a guy that talks a lot, blah blah blah. Hey guys, I slept with so and so. That's a downside. She will not risk having sex with you if you know that you will say everything to your friends and spread rumors. So make sure that you give her the feeling that you will have a lot of discretion when dealing with her. Another thing, the circumstances are right, is that usually, like we say, it's more about being the right guy at the right time. And how can you be the right guy at the right time if you're not even leaving your house? You have to like do things, go places, um, and all that. So yeah, even the hottest, slimmest yoga bunny pigs out on pizza every once in a while. It's human nature. We're not strong. We're weak. And this is another thing where, if you guys are wondering how certain guys got with really hot chicks, it's because just like you can be in love with the perfect girl, but you'll see some chubby girl with big tits, and you're gonna be like I just want to see what that's like because you can have steak and lobster every day. You can have the best food every day, but sometimes you just want a slice of pizza. Sometimes you want a Big Mac. No matter how good the food is, that's just the way, that's just the shitty part about being a man. You will always want a little bit of strange. And any guy that doesn't agree is lying. We pretend to have standards to the outside world, but down deep inside, no one has any standards, and we know it. We have no will, no self-control. Hell, there's politicians jerk off other politicians in movie theaters. Like, come on. All women are the same. If you can hold a frame, pass a woman's test, and lead her to somewhere sex can happen while creating plausible deniability, she will F you. You'll be amazed. You'd be amazed how easy it is when you get it down. Yep. All right. Number 17, stop thinking you need to be an alpha to get hot girls. Helpful at first, but it will ultimately stress you out. Now, this is important. Again, your frame is I am enough. And that's important. I like that frame because guys are like, if you still are asking, like, I hope I'm enough, that puts you in her frame saying that it means that you're qualifying to her. But it's more like I am enough and I have to give her an opportunity to discover my value, right? Your frame is not I'm a badass alpha who's better than everyone because you're still qualifying. That's hard to uphold in the face of conflicting evidence and will cause cognitive dissonance and stress. It's simply women and men are meant to get together. I am a man, therefore, women are already attracted to me on some baseline level. That's not a hard frame to maintain. It doesn't stress the truth. It doesn't cause cognitive dissonance. And therefore, it's much more resilient in the face of tests and resistance, which is the most critical element to getting hottest girls, right? So, again, overall, the article talks about um, frame control and holding frame because it's going to be a war of attrition with beautiful women. However, thinking that you're a badass alpha, being irrationally self-confident to the point where, um, you get cognitive dissonance and you stress yourself out. Meaning that, let's say you go out with a group of friends and you want to prove, like, when you have this alpha mentality, you're going to put pressure on yourself. You have something to prove. You have an identity to validate. But if you just say, "Hey, I'm a dude. I have a dick. She has a pussy. Um, there's a reason I have a dick and she has a pussy, and there's a reason she looked pretty. Like, I'm enough, right? I just have to make it. I have to allow her to see my value." And you see, that's more puts you more in an upper hand situation mentally. So, I think that's what he's saying here. Alrighty. Cultivate a reality distortion field. All right. So number 18. In order to do this, you must fully internalize the I am enough belief system. Understanding it in theory isn't enough. You have to feel with your whole mass. You have to believe it with total, unquestioning, brainwashed conviction. The more you think about the idea that there's no reason you're not hot enough, the more it will feel true. Things will become true to us through repetition, not through logic. Use self hypnosis if necessary. Find every reason you can to support the belief that you're enough while cultivating deliberate blindness to anything that contradicts it. Don't be a slave to logic. Make logic a slave to you. This is how you cultivate a reality distortion field. Yeah, and this is like internalizing, hey, because a lot of guys they don't like the idea that they're enough because that just means that they lack action. Men want to do everything possible so when the interaction happens, it's as pleasant as possible. But the truth is that you are trying to get around something and it's rejection. You'll do it. Like men will build countries, men will go to space, men will spend hundreds of $1,000s, do all these things just to avoid rejection. Right. Um, but if you really think, hey, I'm enough, and if you get rejected, it's just like, hey, I didn't allow her to see my value, or I didn't make it easy for her to see my value. Then you realize like, hey, I was always enough. Need to I just need to move the conversation and pass her test enough so she finally opens her eyes to what I am, which is a man. So, yeah. Alrighty. Um there we go. All right, part 3. Let's take a break and we shall be back. Alrighty. All right. Part 3. How to make women horny by passing their tests. All right. Bear with me, guys. This is a kind of a tough read, but we'll get through it. Enduring number 19, enduring tests equals building attraction. When you approach a woman, she immediately starts testing you. By testing her test, you demonstrate that your frame is stronger than hers. This makes her horny for you. Okay, so just again, is a little bit repetitive, guys, but it's just endure the test. And he just says if a woman's testing you, she's interested. All right, moving on. Passing tests is where all the attraction is ultimately generated. Attraction is not generated by pickup lines and witty comebacks. Attraction is not generated by manipulation techniques. Attraction is not generated by looks or money. All these things will increase your probabilities of getting laid and make your game smoother and more streamlined, but they are not what builds attraction. The one and only thing that builds attraction is enduring women's tests. The reason for this obvious when you think about it. Again, he's saying, hey, everything else is important, I guess, but it's just being able to stay steadfast in the face of a woman testing you. So, all right. 21. Enduring our test equals the ability to overcome adversity equals good genetics. So yeah, this is basically explaining that the reason women shit test is to see that you are able to handle other things like violence and other men yelling. That's just It's biological. They don't do it maliciously, guys. Women aren't built for Starbucks; they're built for the African savannah. Now, this is one of those things where like men will be like, "Oh, inflation," or women are bitchy. It was just like women are like this naturally. They're not supposed to be nice all the time. They were built for the African savannah. Um, like he says that hot women aren't acting bitchy to you because of feminism. They're acting bitchy to you because they want to fuck you, but they can only do so after they prove that you're a stronger friend than they do, right? And this is important. Stop looking for reasons or excuses as to why women are not, or hot women or women in general are not nice to you, because you become a victim. And I know sometimes, hey, um, it's feminism's fault, great, but like, how does that help you? Now, are there women that having a bad day? Yes. Are there women that maybe they have a boyfriend? Yes. Maybe. Are there women that genuinely don't want to speak to you? Sure. But for the most part, think of it like this: they have to be this way. It's not their fault. Just take it, take the rejection, take the bitchiness, and move on if you truly cannot handle it in that moment. So, yeah. All right. Okay, so number 23, eliminate self-destructive beliefs. There's a common myth in the seduction community that a girl who acts bitchy to your approach is fundamentally flawed and therefore not worth pursuing. This is just totally ludicrous. In fact, it's just an incidence of sour grapes. Cognitive games we play with ourselves to rationalize the grapes we can't reach are sour. The reality is that if a girl has any value whatsoever, she will test you hard during your first approach. All right, kind of the same thing. Embrace the tests. Guys, if a girl starts teasing you or being mean initially or testing you or whatever, this is good. This is a good sign. She's giving you the ball and saying, "All right, let's play." So, pretty simple. All right. So now we're going to talk about active tests and passive tests. So, essentially, active tests, it's like when a woman insults you, belittles you, mocks you, or says something provocative to get a reaction. These are all examples of active tests. Common brush off lines like telling you she has a boyfriend, saying you're a nice guy, telling you let's just be friends. These are all also active tests. I won't talk much about passing active tests as this material has already been done to death. Yeah, just uh, you gotta. Sometimes it helps to memorize certain things to say, um, but you realize that shit tests usually come in ways like uh, if you're short, they're gonna be like, well, sorry, I'm not into short kings, or if you're this or you're that, you got to be ready for them. If you have to memorize a response, then so be it. Um, but it's all the same. You agree and amplify, or ignore the test and continue as you didn't even hear it. And yeah, he says that active test is really good. Yeah. So, how to get past your bishop persona and into her knickers, recognize and endure passive tests. There's another type of test which is much more important to understand. This is the passive test. This is almost never covered in PUA red pill literature, yet these tests are actually the most common you'll encounter, particularly when dealing with nines and tens. Passive testing happens when you approach a girl and she appears to be indifferent, bored, and aloof. Resting bitch face is a passive test. Giving you only one word answers is a passive test. My favorite, when you go to approach a hot girl, she looks at you with a face of half disgust, half horror, and runs away. Utterly brutal as it seems, that yes, even that is a test. Don't confuse passive test with rejection. 99% of guys interpret passive test as rejection. Even natural alphas do, and that's totally understandable. I mean, it makes sense, right? If you approach a stunner and she takes one look at you before making a creeped out face to her friend, and then they run away, that's obviously a rejection, right? Well, what if I told you that at least half the women I've slept with in my life reacted like that or similarly badly when I approached them? Here's a particularly good example. And they need to go to tell a story. Um, I don't think. I mean, yeah, just building up on the last point. Um, So he talks about you are too high value. Yes, you read that correctly. This is like why women reject you. When you're getting rejected by girls, it's because you're too high value for them. It makes them nervous and self-conscious. Stay with me here. I know this sounds paradoxical, but try to grasp it. Women are nervous around you. When you approach a woman out of the blue, it demonstrates a lot of value, more than you probably realize. That is because 97% of guys don't actually approach at all. Those who do are usually drunk and sloppy. This means that if you're an average to fair looking guy and you cold approach a girl, you put yourself in the top 3% of men in terms of confidence. In other words, she is going to naturally assume that you're an alpha male, whether this is true or not. This makes her nervous and subconscious. She's ill at ease around you because she wants to make a good impression. So she tries to act cool, aloof, and standoffish because she feels awkward. She says bitchy things because she can't think of anything else to say. She runs away because she feels anxious around you and she doesn't know what to do next. In other words, you're becoming across as too high value. Women are nervous around you. Be patient with them. Now, I don't know about this one. This is one of those things where if it helps you to believe this, go ahead. If it doesn't, don't. But I I have been told when I talk to women, oh hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I hung out with Sean this weekend. Yeah. So if it helps you to act to feel like this or to think like this, then sure. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I've had several women in my life in the past tell me like, "Hey, when you talked to me, I was just a little nervous. I wasn't mad at you or anything." So there could be some truth to this. Up to you guys how you want to take this one. So here he talks about the six most common tests hot girls will give you and how to pass them in a way that builds attraction. So you approach her, say hi. She makes a weird face and she pretends to ignore you. Um, and he just says, keep talking back as if you expect her to talk back. Um, so he goes on to say that hey, the reason they don't say a lot is because she feels anxious. Number two is you're talking to a girl and she acts indifferent or aloof, only gives you one word answers, or keeps looking off in the distance. Again, you simply have to endure it. Keep talking, keep being playful, teasing her a little bit. Never hurts her either. Are you this charming with all the guys? This bitchy cheerleader persona you're putting on is really turning me on. Please keep going. When she sees you're not going to go away so easily, her frame will crack. She'll start to smile attraction. Hey, um, you see this in a lot of popular media, like Fresh Prince of Bel Air, ironically enough, where despite the girl being mean and all that stuff, the guy kind of like powers through and keeps trying to like play and all that stuff. But yeah, just be careful with this one because she may enjoy it, but there may be other people around that kind of notice this, and you don't want to grab the attention of any like guy that's trying like white knight in there is like, is this guy bothering you? That kind of thing. So yeah. Number three, you're talking to a girl and she leaves you to go to the bathroom, says, I have to go find my friends, or runs away for no apparent reason. Let her go, then reapproach her later. I can't tell you how many girls have run off on me, then I approach them half an hour later. They're like, oh, it's you, and then we hook up. Why do women leave? Again, they're nervous. Have you ever approached a hot girl and things go too well? Your girl's smiling, laughing, she's responding well, and you freak out. You don't know what else to do, but you don't want to fuck it up, so you leave. Girls do this too. Women will run out of things to say, um, and run away because they're nervous and overwhelmed by being in a high value person's presence. Same as guys will. Um, yeah, a little bit of dedication goes a long way, I would say. I don't know how to feel about this one. I have no opinion on this. So, yeah. If you're talking to a girl and she tells you outright that you should leave or says, well, you should go back to your friends. It was nice meeting you. Smile, not agree, and then continue talking as if she said nothing. Never leave set because a girl tells you to. She can walk away if she wants. She has that right. But in a public space like a bar or nightclub, you're well within your rights to talk to whoever you want. It's Saturday night, social environment, you're mixing with people. Blah blah blah. Okay. Number five, you're talking to a woman. There's uncomfortably long lull in the conversation. Stare into her left pupil while saying nothing. Instant sexual tension. And then number 6, you approach a woman or a group of women, they attempt to mock you or belittle you, to mock or belittle you. They're nervous around you because you're the alpha male in the environment, as demonstrated by the fact that you approach. They feel uncomfortable in your presence because you're high value, and so they're trying to maintain frame by making nervous jokes. Smile, nod, agree, and keep talking to them as if they were being perfectly nice to you. If you act like they're being civil, eventually their frame will buckle to yours, and they will eventually will begin to act civil. That's the nature of having stronger frame. You create reality, other people adjust themselves to it. And then TLDR. Um that's hopefully there's no bad there's so many weird ads in here. And then um everyone had their like thoughts on all this stuff. So guys, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think? He's just defending himself on that. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's the list, guys. You guys can look at it. I pinned the link in the top of the chat. But yeah, guys, it's up to you guys if you guys want to use this or not. Remember, it's what works for you and your mentality. I would say that yes, irrational self-confidence works, but remember that frame is everything. Frame is who you are. Frame is the world in which she steps into. And when you're out, and you're talking to a beautiful woman, she's going to make you feel uh worthless or like you're not worth talking to, you're bad. And you know, you may truly believe that you're better than her, and that's why she's acting that way. But give it a try. Hold out. Talk to a beautiful woman and just hold out. See how long you can go. Notice as she's becoming nicer and more chill and her guard's going down. You don't know. You could crack that cold exterior they have and you could get laid. It's not common. And that's how you stand out. That's the true 1%. Everyone else is trying to buy their way into hot women, but you are just holding out. So I guess that's really the main takeaway here is that endure the tests. Um, don't get phased. You got to be a completely unfazed and all that stuff. Uh, and yeah, that pretty much it. I mean that's what I got from that. Hey, just don't be unfazed. And it still holds up, but not just for better women. It does for everyone. Yeah. And guys, like if you guys go out and you look and you try it, you know, you will reveal things about yourself too. Because here's another thing. Once you start approaching women, you have a conversation with women. I'm telling you guys, you are in the top 1% of the world. Like men don't do that shit. Very rare. Um, and when it comes down to it, you can make all the money in the world. These guys love to navel gaze about women, love to have these little theories. Today a CEO said like, "Hey, this is the pickup line that always worked for me. May I meet you?" Everyone talks about little gimmicks and tricks. Say this, say that. Great. Even me sometimes. But the truth is, your frame, all of this, dating, having sex with women, even being in a relationship, all that's supposed to build your frame. Frame is all there is. It's the most important thing. And when you're talking to hot women, you have to hold out. I know a lot of men that talk a lot of shit, but the minute they're in front of a hot girl, they would crumble. They'd be fucking mush. Or they would say something so stupid or they'd walk away and all that stuff. And I'm here to tell you that um those men, you don't want them around you. You know, uh weak frames cause a lot of problems. So yeah. Yeah, it's never been easier to get a girl's interest. Yeah, you just have to accept it that like, hey, um, you just gotta endure. I truly believe that you have to endure. You have to just wait it out. I was in my gym in 2021 and I sat next to a porn star The gym was empty. It was 8 a.m. And this porn star lady sat down next to me. I didn't know she was a porn star then, but I knew that guys would approach her or say like talk to her at the gym, but not like in trying to pick her up way, just like, hey, I know you from somewhere, which is really weird, right? Um, and all that. But one day she just sat next to me on the row machine, and I used another Rouge opener, and I was like, "Hey, is my form good?" And she looked at me like I was crazy. Like she gave me that look, the whole, what the hell? Like she gave me like, what? And I just kept talking like normal because I had no choice. I have to talk. I couldn't just, we're working out next to each other. And then within like 30 seconds, she was like giggling at my jokes and all that. And I regret not asking for her number and all that stuff. But yeah, um, when I when I look at this article, I think back to those, parts of my life where I approached. And the thing is, the girl, it wasn't that the girl was that hot. It's that she's like, she's a porn. Every guy wants to bang one, so she's automatically like a good mark for men. Men would love to sleep with her on the fact just because she's a porn star. But I didn't know she was one. But I just kept talking to her and realized that guys within like a minute, she's just guard like the walls dropped, and I was like, whoa, what changed? And it was just simply held out. Yeah. Um, so give it a try, guys. What's there to lose? You know, go talk to a girl today, tomorrow, whenever, and just see how long you can go. See how long it takes for her to just completely drop her guard. You know, if there is a lull in the conversation, stare intently into her left pupil and say, "May I meet you?" Yeah, I don't know. So many gimmicks. Everyone wants to inject their own little thing, but in reality, guys, it's not about the tricks, it's about developing frame. It's about like being charming and all that stuff. There isn't an instruction book for that. You just have to go out there. Yes, there is models. There is a model. You can model yourself after people. That's great, but you should have a goal in mind, is that to make the other person feel good. And if you guys think about it, brown nosing and giving people gifts, none of those things actually make people feel good, right? Um, Being interested in them, making them laugh, a quick joke. I was like thinking today that what these guys, that their only humor is like racism and politics and being assholes. Like, how do they expect to get girlfriends, friends, and actually be likable? Their only humor is the N word, you know? Like, hey, like, cool. I like a good joke like that from time to time, but what in the real world, the world you live in, not the internet, the world you live in, you work in, and you have sex in, and you have your life in, you have to develop some kind of humor and charm that's not internet humor and charm. You have to evolve past that. And I think a lot of the reasons why a lot of men like to build followings or stay online so much is because they're running from that. They're running from their burden of performance. And their burden of performance is, hey, you have to be funny outside of your stupid friends' racial humor. So yeah. All right. We've come to, so just like I mentioned in my post, we're going to do a section about reading YouTube comments. So let's read some YouTube comments. So the cool thing about YouTube is that now you get to filter by questions. So one of the questions is, I go down the list. These are the most recent ones I have it here on my second monitor. No, well, I won't say names. I'm just gonna read them. How to approach women in real life and date game and all that stuff. Oh, cool. We got a super chat. We'll get to this question. Let's get the super chat first. Thank you, Crom. You get one of these.
Thank you so much, best friend.
Crom with the $10. A couple weeks ago, someone called out Rolo on stream for turning his back on Rule Zero. Rolo got kind of aggro and said it was because of association with Pro. What are your thoughts on this? Yeah, okay, so I don't want to spend too much time on this, guys. but um, it's exactly that. Uh, I was the newest member of Rule Zero, and you know I consider that kind of an honor. I know a lot of guys are like, it's whatever, we're normal dudes, but hey, being the newest member, it meant that like people respected your notes and the things you had to bring to the table, and that's pretty cool. I didn't let it go to my head. I like to work. I don't want to come to the internet to be worshipped. We have enough of those people, and they're crazy and pathological, whatever. So we did the show together, and then there started issues with several members of Rule Zero and all that stuff, and it was because Rolo doesn't like Pearl like at all, right? They had some falling out because the understanding was that uh, Pearl invited Rolo and got uh, what is it called, blitzed or surprised by Nick Fuentes and his army. And the thing is with the Groypers is that they're very loyal and they're very kind of they like to attack people on the internet and dox people. They're just a crazy kooky bunch of people, right? So he's mad at Pearl for that still, and for other things that guys I forget to this day, but yeah, and he's well within his right, right? Like you gotta understand, Rose has been attacked, has so many attacks on him and his family with associating with the wrong people. So he's very weary about letting certain people in his life, right? He's had to like call the police and have restraining orders and all that stuff for his own children. So I understand the level of apprehension and also like there's just some things that aren't worth your brand and all that stuff, right? So if you have people that are all associated with someone that you don't trust, then it makes sense that you'd walk away, right? And here's the thing, guys. Like no one owes you anything, right? And that's why this situation kind of figured itself out, right? Rolo does not owe his presence on Rule Zero, right? It is not his responsibility. He can leave whenever he wants and he can come back whenever he wants. I don't owe Rule Zero anything. I do it out of the love and to help build my brand, and all that stuff, right? And Pearl doesn't owe me understanding on this. Rolo does not owe me understanding on this. I don't owe an explanation. None of us owe an explanation to each other. We are just all individuals. We've made decisions and all that stuff. And realize too that I'm not here to make friends. I like the guys I stream with, but I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to I have a job to do, right? I've accepted this as a job. I make content, I pump out content, I write articles, I prepare for shows. I sometimes do a little bit of coaching, which here, let me put my link if you guys want to talk to me this week. Um, and I'm not here to like cause a commotion or use people's misery to grow my following. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't dislike anyone in this story at all. Like uh so there's really not much to say there. Rule Zero is here to stay for the time being. I don't see it as Roll turning his back on Rule Zero. I'm just saying that people leave, right? As you can see, a lot of people left. RP Thor, he passed away. That's sad. So he's no longer with us. Paul left as well. Ryan is trying to step away from the red pill stuff and focus on fiction and all that stuff. So he's no one is turning their back on Rule Zero. People just, hey, I'm done. It's no longer my thing. I want my Saturdays free, and you pass it on to someone else, and that's just the way it is. And there may be some reason, there may be some personal reasons, right? But guys, stay focused on the prize. So, but thank you for the super chat. Yeah, and it's basically like that. Like it's not personal, guys. Um, if you guys start taking this internet stuff as personal, then this is not real. I'm a normal dude. Like as soon as this stream goes off, I'm back to my normal life. I don't do anything crazy or awesome. I mean, my personal life could be fun sometimes, but I'm just a dude, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. All right. Cool. Um. All right. So let's read YouTube comments. Okay, so how to approach women in real life and day game, right? I mean, that's too broad a question. I don't like questions like, "How do I approach women?" How do you approach women? You just approach them. That's right. Okay. Another question is, this is in terms of the girl, that woman that I had, uh, that did a show on where she said that, um, if she went out, she doesn't go out because if she goes out, she might cheat, right? She's expressing to her husband how great of a wife she is because, she doesn't put herself in bad situations anyway. And the guy's asking, why is she saying that in a video that will go public on the internet instead of just doing it? Hint, it's PR. Well, sure, right? But she doesn't have much to gain from PR. It's the guys, what we're seeing now, and this is why a lot of men are mad and then black pill and all that stuff, is that hypergamy has always existed. What's new is open hypergamy, which is a declaration publicly of your sexual strategy, right? That's open hypergamy. Hey guys, I'm doing this. Or hey guys, I'm like this and I still get everything I want. And this is just women saying this is just women announcing their victory lap. It's the parade after the championship game. Hey guys, I'm gonna do something crazy that is contrary to men's sexual strategy, and there's nothing you can do about it. So when a woman says something crazy or embarrasses her husband, that's open hypergamy. Because women that completely depend or first off, completely depend on their husband, and number two, or have genuine burning desire for their husband, don't really care about voicing their opinion about anything. They just fade into the background. They're happy. Um, so that's just open hypergamy for you. That's why she says it. It's because she's saying, I won. I won as a woman. I won everything. Like I got this man to tell me I'm awesome. I'm literally telling him I'm a slut for other men. I would cheat on him if the conditions were right to him. Whereas a woman with genuine burning desire um would look at this as, why would I even go out? I don't get it. Going out? I don't get it. Why would I go out? I'm with you. I don't it wouldn't even cross your mind. See the difference? So that's why. Uh okay. So this is a comment on a short. Why are men afraid of winning with women? Right. And I posted this the other day. And this guy asked, "It can't be this easy, can it? It's like I'm stealing candy from a baby. Am I a thief now? Am I taking advantage of a special needs individuals?" I don't know if he was being like ironic or sorry, sarcastic or anything like that. But why men are afraid of winning with women? It was just a short on me explaining that the reason a lot of men don't want to win with women is because they don't want to knock women off that pedestal. It gives them meaning. If they look at women as victims and perfect and angelic, and they find out that women are willing to sleep with them, they'll think, well, something's wrong with her. But the truth is, there's nothing wrong with her. Women will always be attracted to hot guys. They were in the past, and they are in the future. They will be in the future. And once you become that hot guy, or you win with women, a lot of men fear that because it it destroys any remnants of their blue pill idealism that they once had, that their ego invested in. So yeah. Let's see. Okay, so again, we're going back to that video of the woman who said that if she doesn't go out because she doesn't go out to bars and clubs because she could end up cheating. This is another comment on that. Okay, so what is he supposed to do? Because if he just tells her leave and go cheat, she will just dismiss him and he will probably be annoyed. She's married now, so she is secure. The only leverage you have as a guy when you can kick her out of the house. If you live together, even better. When you just tell her not to come back again if you don't, it's that simple. Now, guys, this guy is just saying with like a big fallacy about men thinking that single men say this all the time. Oh, the only power we have is kicking that bitch to the curb. I'm like, well, it's not that easy, right? Kicking a woman to the curb, she's your wife, and you probably have kids with her and a mortgage, and you love her, right? You know, you don't hate your wife out of nowhere. You can't like we're not men. Men, we love our wives. You know, that's just the way we are. So, uh, and I think I suggested during the video, hey, you have to have the attitude where if a girl ever says that to you, you should be like, hey, just go. What are you waiting for? Have fun. You know, we could use a break. Like, call her on her bluff, right? And mean it. And guys are just like, well, she's just gonna be annoyed and all that stuff. Oh, but again, this is like a shit test. Like, you agree and amplify. If she says, "Hey, the reason I don't go out is because if I went out, I would cheat on you," right? You agree and amplify, and be like, "Well, just I don't mind. Like, go out." I'm like, "Hey, I wish." Okay, you would say like, "Go out and if you go out and I can be free, you mean all I have to do is let you go out and you'll set me free from you?" Hell yeah. And there you go. You pass the test, right? But guys don't want to go there. Guys don't want to become what they have to become to to like pass a woman shit test, right? Let me see if there are good questions here. Uh, so this guy says, I have no desire to be in a romantic relationship anymore. I do, however, wish to have a family. Is that odd? Well, I think what's happening is that when guys realize that a relationship is doesn't really change much, you still have to go to work, you still have to be excellent, you still have to be in shape. Obviously, kids do. Kids definitely change your life a little bit, but a romantic relationship is just you just bang one person, right? So he says, but I want to have a family. And I think what he's trying to say is like, hey, I've abandoned the blue pill romantic idealism, and I thought I needed that to have a family. That's what he's saying. And he's realizing like, hey, I could still be me, and I don't need love to have a family. Like, well, you discover that men and women love differently. Like, romantic idealism is basically a way women trap beta men because it they make us think that they want to love us like we love them. But the truth is, this guy's discovering, hey, men and women don't love the same, but I still want a family. Like, yeah, that's healthy way of thinking. Your woman is never gonna love you the way you love her. It's always gonna be different. So, let's see. Oh, I got a super long comment here. Oh, this one's really long. Okay, it's about the debate the other day with Andrew Wilson and CGA. So, anyways, mm, I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so this one I really wanna address, right? And I'll close it with this one. Thanks for guys for being patient. Okay, so this is on my video applying perception versus perspective in your dating life, which was 2 months ago. And I talked about the dog story where it was February 2023, and I was out in West Texas somewhere, and I left a girl with a longtime plate of mine. And this is like we've been seeing each other for like 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I don't remember. And while I was out in the middle of nowhere, I texted her to check in on my dog, and she says fine. It's just, and I told her, hey, let's go to that coffee shop we were talking about, right? We were at this point, we've we've been seeing each other. We both wanted to keep casual. And then she says, no, I can't. I'm kind of seeing someone. I'm like, that's fine. It kind of hit me kind of weird because I'm like, damn, she has my dog, and I gotta go see her, and she's like with a guy now, you know. So it's super awkward. I'm like, hmm. So I'm like, okay. So I drove to her place, and I wasn't gonna make her drive down to Dallas. She lived like 15 minutes away, 20 minutes away, because she was doing me a favor. So I just said, whatever. The day of when I went to go pick up my dog, she calls me crying and saying the dog, like he got out, like he escaped, he got out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, relax, it's fine, we'll get him and all that stuff. Um, and then she calls me again, he's like, I caught him, but his leg's all cut up and he's hurt. I'm like, hey, it's fine. I'll just go to the vet. all that stuff. And we I show up to the place and she says, "Don't go upstairs." Usually she lets me come upstairs to pick up the dog. She's like, "Stay down here." I'm like, "Okay, that's weird. Maybe the guy's upstairs, or maybe she's just trying to respect the fact that she's with the boyfriend by not letting another man in her house." Cool, whatever. She hands me my dog and she says, "Bye," giggling. And then I look at my dog and he has like a limp little leg. He's like 1 years old, maybe not even now. I don't even remember how old he is at this point. Like a year old pup. And I look at her and I say, "So I guess we can't see each other anymore." And she's like, "No, I can't." And I say, "Well, okay, well, don't mess this up." And I drive away. Now, a lot of people look at that story, he's like, "You should have let her had it. She was irresponsible with your dog, like she didn't tell you she was seeing someone to the very last minute, blah blah blah." But then, like, guys, I just wanted to get my dog and get out of there, right? First off, that was my goal, like, and all that stuff. Um, And the guy here is explaining the thing is about the dog drop example. Why should you be considerate towards someone who, in Evo terms, has condemned you to extinction? In life where everything is a competition, her strategy is to put you down quietly and you just go along with it. Your rage is there for a reason. It's your own nature fighting back, yet you act defeated. I didn't act defeated. First off, I we hooked up for months. Like I won, right? Um, women women are the ones that determine the conditions of the relationship. Once the relationship she doesn't see any benefit and she wants to move on, then there's nothing you can do, right? He's like, why didn't you? Because men want to control women so bad. They're so obsessed with removing women's agency and finding ways to like mind control them that when a guy like me accepts their agency, it drives them crazy. The Catholics, or sorry, Christians hate this too. Whenever we assign agency to women, the women don't like it because they're like, no, we just act this way because of men, right? The removing responsibility bullshit. And the Christian men love this stuff because it gives them more reasons to be uh they think it gives them more power. It's like, oh, I can control women with my morals. I'm like, dude, you cannot control women with anything. And in this moment, I was like, "Hey, it's over. I just have to get my dog and get out of here." It's been over. Like, she decided this months ago. She was just waiting for the new guy to, like, pop the question or something needed to happen, and it happened, and she was like, "Alright, I gotta get rid of this guy." Right? And it happened. And she came back 3 months later. Her relationship failed, and she came back, and I was like, "Whatever." And then we hooked up for a couple more months, but the thing is, like, guys, you stop trying to win, um, with women, right? This is not a competition. You're not competing with women. I know a lot of guys are just like, "Oh, I feel like women are like, you're not, right? There is no winning against women. It's either are we having sex or not? That's it. There is no like winning an interaction. That's like some incel beta shit, right? Um, and just because she had a moment where she was a little irresponsible and she let the dog out or got hurt or whatever, and all that stuff, it wasn't forthcoming about, hey, I have a guy, I like and all that stuff. That's okay. She's a girl, right? She makes mistakes. She's nervous. She was crying to me and all that stuff. And yeah, I was pretty pissed because I had to see my 1-year-old puppy limping and all that stuff. But you know what? At some point I was like, hey, it's over. I had a big weight off my shoulders. I don't have to keep planning dates every 10 days with this girl. Uh Pussy was great, but everything comes to an end. She's not yours, it's just your turn. And this is one of the things about the red pill where everyone wants to say the red pill until they're faced with a situation in which the red pill would have bailed them out and helped them. And in that situation, I sat down with myself and I was like, she's not mine, it's just my turn. And guess what? That was not a bad way to end things. I was able to get a word in. And when we rematched again, she was overjoyed. She was like, "Oh my God, what's up?" And she sent me little emojis on Hinge, and she was like, why didn't you ever reach out to me ever again?" I'm like, "Oh, I thought you were in a relationship." She's like, "Oh yeah, that's true." And then we picked up right where we picked up again where we left off. Like nothing happened. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Do you want to be right? Do you want to be happy? Do you want to win debates? Do you want to win interactions with women? I don't. I don't care. If I take an L, I take an L. It's just life. Doesn't make me less of a man. But I tell that story all the time, and I'm getting kind of tired of telling it. But again, the secret king shit where you want to like win it with women, like winning what? What do you get? I'm worried about getting laid. Everything else is I don't give a shit. I don't care. Like, do you need a woman to agree with you for you to have sex with her? Do you need her to be the same politics? Do you need her to? All you need her is to be hot and ready. Like that's all. You don't need anything else. So yeah. All right. All right, guys. That's all the I can keep going, but I mean, you guys are I want to enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. But yeah, those are the YouTube comments that popped out, and I'll do it every time I do a live stream. I'll read some. So if you guys want to get your YouTube comments read, ask your questions, and then the next Sunday I'll get to them and all that stuff. But um, yeah. So yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you again for the super chats, Dark Knight Dev and Crom. It was the show. It's hard to get through this, right? It's not a great read. Like oh, okay. So my final thoughts on how to get laid like a warlord. It's too repetitive and a little bit esoteric. Um, I just it needed to be more concise. Like, hey, just endure. And I think he needed to be more straightforward with what the kind of things you needed to expect from women, from beautiful women. I think he needed to be more like field report and all that stuff. 3 stories of which, would have helped a lot more. But he was very repetitive. It's like I kept reading the same paragraph over and over. I'm sure you guys probably felt the same. But other than that, it's pretty good. It's a cool little tool. It's something to fall back on, a good refresher. And it's also very positive. A lot of stuff in the red pill is very negative, bleak, or at least at first. But seeing someone write and make you feel already empowered and remind you of your value and how women actually are is refreshing. Everyone else tells you you suck or you're not good enough, and this guy's like, "Yep, you're good enough from the get go." I'm like, "Oh, interesting. Didn't know that. Now I do." So yeah, that's all I got, guys. Thank you, and I will see you soon. Good night.
No sé vosotros, pero yo me equivoco constantemente. Tengo que pedir perdón constantemente y creo que vosotros también. Así que, bueno, seamos comprensivos y perdonemos y dejemos que la gente se equivoque, porque cuanto mayor es el error, más necesitamos el perdón de los demás.